This is the most exciting time. This is what everybody waits for when they come to Vegas. Whether you're a recurve, a compound shooter, you're a youth shooter, you like to come and check this out. And there comes Stephan Hansen from Denmark. Stephan Hansen qualified for this shoot-off with a perfect score of 988 X's. He only missed 2 X's in 3 days of competition.
For 14 years.
He absolutely did. They call Stephan the babyface assassin. He's been shooting for 14 years. Shoots for PSE, Carbon Express.
Our next competitor is
his
no
coach is Martin
stranger to the
Damsbo.
stage in Vegas.
Stephan is a 5-time world champion, and he's been in the Vegas shoot-off once before.
Now here's the pride of Tennessee. This is Chance Beaubouef. Chance, he qualified, tied for second to get into this shoot-off. 986 X's, and Chance has been to this dance many times.
He has.
Shooting on
Chance
target
has been here 12 times before.
Wow.
He's the OPA champion, 3-time Vegas winner. He's an indoor world champion. Been shooting for 20 years. Shoots for elite, gold tip.
And here's Mr. Perfect. This is Mike Schloesser from the Netherlands. And Mike, 986 X's, so he only dropped 4 X's. And Mike has a lot of experience under this pressure.
Mike absolutely does. He's been in this shoot-off twice before. He shoots for Hoyt and Easton. Surprisingly, his home club is called the William Tell Club. He's a world champion, a World Cup finalist, outdoor World Cup champion, and he also obviously has the Mr. Perfect world record.
And this is Tate Morgan, who shot 982 X. Tate Morgan, 23 years old. This is his first shoot-off. Proud to be here. And here comes Mr. Popular, Big Cat. This is Steve Anderson, lives in Utah, originally from Idaho. And Steve's been around a long time, his first shoot-off.
They call him the Weltmeister.
That's what he calls
7
himself.
years, yes. Hoyt shoots for Hoyt Easton out of Caldwell, Idaho. 2016 World Field Champion, 2015 USA Field National Champion.
Next up on the list out of Montana is Chris Schaff.
David Hauser.
Chris coming in here, looking for this opportunity. His second go at this. Says that first opportunity gave him the knowledge to be able to break on through a 979
National target champion.
On the screen there, that's David Hauser
right there.
Shoots for Hoyt Archery, gold tip. He's from Creekside, Pennsylvania. 2015 U.S. Target National Champ.
Vegas finalist, Mario Vavro.
World Match Junior Champion. This is Mario Vavro coming up next.
Beautiful Croatia.
In just a moment. He's been shooting for 12 years. He shoots for Bowtech and gold tip. He's from
This next gentleman hardly needs an introduction.
He's a junior world field champion back in 2014.
To decide who got to call in
the
Freak Show. Jesse Broadwater.
A little bit mixed in the order.
Changed us up there. That's Jesse Broadwater. Super crowd favorite. Jesse Broadwater, they call him the Freak Show. 27 years shooting, 15 years as a professional. Just switched over to Matthews.
And
shoots for Easton, now lives in Ellerton, Florida.
Because he's so cute.
His coach is Lisa Broadwater. And he's also been in 12 shoot-offs. He's won Vegas in 2006, 2012.
And he won last night, the Indoor World Cup.
The 2016 ASA
Justin Hanna.
Rookie of the Year.
Justin Hanna got here with 78 X's and a perfect 900 shoot.
Most admired archer.
And Justin Hanna out of North Carolina. And he shoots for Matthews and gold tip.
Right. He was the 2016 ASA Rookie of the Year. He most admires Darren Christianberry. He's been in the shoot-off once before. This is Glen Bordwell. Glen Bordwell shoots up near my hometown in New York.
Next up from the great
he's
state
been
of
shooting
Montana.
for 19 years. Young man,
It's
shoots for elite
Tedford.
gold tip. Shoots for Legends of Fall. It's his home club. His coach is his father, Jeff Bordwell. This is his very first Vegas shoot-off.
And this is Paul Tedford, part of this crew in Montana. Now, Paul shoots for Prime in Easton. He's from Great Falls, Montana, and this is his first
The Honey Badger himself.
Shoot-off in all the years Paul's been around. And how about this guy?
14
I mean, does he really need any introduction? The Honey Badger, Rio Wilde.
Rio Wilde, been doing this for 24 years. Shoots for elite.
And
Easton out of Pocatello, Idaho. His coach is his wife.
One of his
been
most
in 9
admired archers,
Vegas
along with his
shoot-offs,
brothers.
and he has absolutely a ton of titles under his belt. 14-time World Championship gold medals. And he looks up to his father and brother the most. Lewis Holmes the third here, the bow fisherman. 26 years shooting, shoots for PSE
Louis
Black
an
Eagle.
NFAA
He's out
Indoor
of Friendship,
National
Wisconsin.
Champion in the bow hunter category.
He's won the Indoor Nationals in bow hunter freestyle and now moved up to freestyle division. And he's also sponsored by True Ball XL, B Stinger, and more middle strings.
Now here comes a fan favorite. This is Chris B out of Michigan. Chris, who's 19 years old, he's a student, but he also does a lot of videos. So Chris is out there on social media promoting archery all the time.
Absolutely. He's his third year pro, 13 years of shooting.
No, you
Hoyt
can't
Easton
handle this
out of
guy.
Heartland,
It's
Michigan.
Dave
His coach is Jim Morrow out of MJC Archery. He won a silver medal in the Team Junior World, bronze mixed medal team
And the
Worlds,
lucky
Big Ten,
dog.
Michigan State University.
And finally, we have out of Maine. This has got to be
Dave is the
Dave
lucky
Cousins.
dog
Dave
down
Cousins
there.
is our lucky dog. What
He's
is
the lucky dog winner. They call him the Cuz. He's been shooting for 35 years, 22 years as a full-time pro. He was the first one to do it. Shoots for Prime, Carbon Express, out of Portland, Maine. He's been in 12 Vegas shoot-offs. He's a 3-time Vegas champ.
All right, once again, just to go over the rules so everybody understands our rules for tonight.
Champion and
we've announced these for every line.
World records for
you
Dave
will have
Cousins.
one practice end.
They will get one practice end, as you can hear. Bruce is calling that out.
Scoring.
Then they go to one end of regular scoring. Regular scoring meaning the 10 ring counts as 10 points, and the inner X does not give you any extra points. As soon as they finish shooting that one end of regular scoring, they will go to the inner 10 scoring, which means only the X ring scores as 10 points, and now the 10 ring scores 9, just as the rest of the yellow does. All these men will go up now and hang their targets and get ready for this exciting shoot-off here, the 51st annual NFAA at the South Point Hotel and Casino. We are in the arena. My name is Chuck Cooley. I'm sitting with Greg White.
And you know, we talked about Dave Cousins and Lucky Dog. Let's explain the Lucky Dog and what happened. Why does Dave Cousins, who shot an 899, he dropped 1 point the entire tournament, which he did the first day on Friday. He dropped an 899. Why is he the Lucky Dog?
The Lucky Dog is an opportunity, because we know this is a sport of perfection. If you shoot an 899, they take all the 899s, they line them up, and you get a chance to break your way into the shoot-off. Now, it's not easy.
No.
You've got to shoot your arrow inside out in the X ring to advance to the Lucky Dog shoot-off. And inside out, what that means is that arrow cannot touch the line at all. It has to be completely inside that X ring, which is roughly the size of a dime at 60 feet. The first archer to do that, or if there's multiple archers to do that, they will shoot it off until somebody advances. And Dave was that man. He is the Lucky Dog champion. Now, Dave can still win this event, and he would get the full check. If he gets eliminated anytime during this shoot-off competition, he will be shuffled back, and he will be the first guy in line of the 899 scores.
Right, so we have a total of 16 shooters in this competition. 15 shooters shot perfect 900s. So even if he makes it to the final 2, if he gets bumped out, he'll go back down to 16.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
33 Lucky Dog shooters this year. 33 shooters,
I think is a record. I absolutely think that's a record.
And let's make a note. Out of the 50-year history, this is 51. So 49 years of Vegas shoot for the NFAA. No one had ever won the Lucky Dog. Sergio Pagni, who again shot 899, the Italian, he won it in one end in the shoot-off last year.
Also the first time.
Okay,
first time that's ever happened.
And only
so he got to ride the chariot of fire across the stage. It was beautiful.
And
$50,000 for the pot. Now again, this is a first practice end.
All right, there's a good look right there at Mario Vavro out of Croatia. Shot 979 next to get here.
And he'll take a look there with his glasses to see how that arrow landed.
A lot of people didn't really know who Mario Vavro was, and they certainly do after this day.
Absolutely. So there's a shot of Mikey Schloesser's target, absolutely dead center. Tate Morgan just a little bit outside right there. Great shot of Chris Schaff. Good shot of his scope and his arrow there. Breaks a nice clean shot. You see him glance up at the screen to see what he was hitting. Stephan Hansen.
#1 qualifier coming in here.
Babyface assassin.
Shooting lights out so far. But when you get on this stage, the pressure can get to any archer here.
Now, Stephan, I watched him a couple of weeks ago at the Lancaster shoot. He was the #1 qualifier again there.
Yeah.
And he got eliminated in the secondary qualifications. He made the cut, but never made the shoot down. That gives you an idea of what this pressure is like. You could hit all the X's in a row that you need, but if you don't hit him at the end, it's over.
And that's archery. That's one of the most spectacular things about archery. You know, if you look across the landscape of sport, you could say, oh, okay, you know, at the beginning of the season, I picked the New England Patriots to win the Super Bowl, or in Formula One, I know this team, this driver, in motorcycle racing. But when it comes to archery, to be at the top of this sport consistently takes so much, because anything can happen in archery.
It's a very shallow pool of archers that live at the top of the list. A very shallow pool of guys. Now, obviously, these young men, you know, they've got a great career. Some of them have been around for a couple of decades, and you know, you see Chris in there, and you see Dylan, you see Bordwell in there. Glen Bordwell comes from his father, his brother, his sister. They all shoot. Katie, great archery family. All of them very, very skilled.
Glen is 21 years old, and when I talked to him before this match, and I said, Glen, you know, what is your expectation? And he said, honestly, I'd like to win it or finish in the top 3. He would feel really proud. Not as proud as his father, Jeff, who's so pumped that he is in this shoot-off right now because his parents own an archery shop.
Right, and I shoot with his family, you know, during the entire season. I see these guys an awful lot. We were just at a tournament last weekend, and I shot alongside of him, and he wound up winning. His sister wound up winning. His father wound up winning.
All right, so here we go. This is the first end of scoring. Arrows are starting to fly.
Anderson X.
Rio Wilde there on the right-hand part of your screen. Chris B.
Vavro X.
And so we're in that first end of scoring now, so the outer 10 still counts as 10 points. The X's don't really help you at this point. You just need to keep it in that larger 10 ring to stay alive. And so far, everybody there on the screen looks like they're in. Jesse looks like he's got one strangely low. You see Rio take a glance up at the screen there. You can see all the scores popping up on the screen. Great shot of Glen.
There's Paul Tedford. Paul Tedford choosing the 23 diameter Easton arrows. He says that they just break better for him. Not choosing to go for the line cutters. As good. We call that in archery a good shot when you draw down.
Yeah, that's a letdown, and because he has 2 minutes on the clock, there's plenty of time for him to let that down, reset, draw, and try to get a better shot.
Chance Beaubouef, known for his long holds, he really likes to take his time through his shot. 40 seconds remain on the clock at this moment. So
and you watch how steady that bow is there. If you look at it against the background, it barely moves.
These guys are serious. A lot of
Chance has been here enough times to know that it generally doesn't happen on this first end. We'll get a few guys knocked out.
So the way this is going to work is the highest score will set the bar, and whoever ties that high score will remain in this shoot-off. Anyone who shoots under that high score, and they're out.
Right. So basically what we're looking for is most of the guys have shot a 30. So if you shot a 29, you know you're out. You see Lewis Holmes there leaning, try to get a good look at his arrow and see where it is. That's Stephan Hansen and Chance Beaubouef there with their first look at their target. Stephan officially with a 30.
With regulation scoring 10-10-10 for Stephan Hansen.
Beaubouef 30.
Chance Beaubouef also with a 30. And that voice you hear in the background is Bruce Cull calling out the scores for the crowd.
President of the NFAA, who organizes this event.
Schloesser 30.
Oftentimes when you're looking on the line, you can see some body English, some heads bobbing, and archers that are disappointed in their shooting. Sometimes they're stoic.
That body English, we call that giving it the onion.
Morgan 30.
Where they'll jack the bow right up in the air and try to save it from bobbing out the middle or bobbing out the bottom.
Folks, if you're just joining us here on our live streaming, we are just completed the first end of the championship open class. These archers are competing for a grand prize of $51,000 And the first end is in the book. So the question becomes,
Schaff,
who is
30.
going to hold on for the second end? And who's got to be bounced out early on?
So far, the first 6 archers are all clean. Now we move over to David Hauser's target. That's a great shot
Hauser,
of David
30.
there.
Mario Vavro, Croatia.
I like the stoic look.
Shoots a lot of 3D, David does.
He sure does.
Great young man to get to know.
19 years old, full-time student at Penn State University.
Vavro, 30.
Not a safety school.
No, not a safety school.
Freak shows next.
And David telling me before the match, too, that he has no expectation. He's happy to be here, and he's just going to relax his mind and shoot and not put any pressure on himself.
He's been in a few shoot-offs in the 3D
Broadwater,
realm
30.
as a young man when he was coming up. Not a huge change for him. Jesse, of course, the big winner last night.
Yeah, and quite the story. First win for his new bow manufacturer, Matthews, the TRX-8. So Jesse
Hannah, 30.
feels very confident. So Justin Hannah
New York's Glen, Bordwell's next.
is in with a 30 as well. Hannah, also 19 years old, out of Asheville, North Carolina. He's primarily a 3D shooter as well.
Bordwell, 30.
Now Montana's Paul Tedford.
Glen, very much a 3D shooter. Love the hat that he's wearing. Says the life. It's a TV, it's a
Tedford,
hunting
30.
TV show
Is
put
it?
together by some friends back home.
Nice.
Those guys have a great program.
So Paul Tedford with a 30. Paul Tedford is definitely quite a story in archery. I mean, he has been around for a long time, and Paul
Wilde,
Tedford
30.
really is a story of perseverance. He started coming here. There's a good look at Paul right there. He started coming here in 2004. Didn't make it 9, 10, and 11, but his 11th time to Vegas and his first time making it this far in the championship open division. So Tedford just a really perseverance has gotten him here. Good look at Rio Wilde. Been on this stage many, many times. Shooting a new bow this year for Elite.
Is that one on the right hand?
Getting back to Paul,
Yeah, it's close.
he had won there was a tournament in Pennsylvania. Guy was giving away $30,000 to win, and he won it back-to-back,
Holmes,
2 years in a row.
Sure did.
I think he broke the poor guy.
Is it not going? I mean, that was great because that was open. Like, you literally could go in and shoot for, I think, a couple months at a time and just try to beat Paul's score.
Yeah, absolutely. They posted it up, and yeah, he won it hands down and really slayed the crowd.
B, 30.
Great archery family.
Great shot of Chris B.
Coming a long way, Chris B. He's a student at Michigan State University. Chris B.
He shoots out of a
years
shop
And
out
Cousins,
there
30.
in Michigan, MJC Archery. His coach has been around for decades, contributing
Gentlemen,
to the sport.
please put up new
Coaches
targets
his
if you
sister
would.
as well,
and we'll
Emily.
go back for the first end of scoring where the X counts as 10.
And you heard that announcement from Bruce Cull, where now we go to the inner 10, which means, again, if you've just looked at this target for the very first time, that small little X-ring, again, roughly the size of a dime, 60 feet away, that's the 10. Now, in FIDA scoring, or on world archery scoring, I shouldn't say FIDA, that's a term we don't use anymore. In world archery scoring, that's how they do it in the rest of the world.
That's right.
Pretty much the United States is the only one that uses that larger 10 ring. But in world archery scoring, that inner 10 is a 10 everywhere else you go. So now we reduce the scoring ring down to that inner ring. If you hit that, it's 10 points. If you miss that but keep it in the yellow, it's 9 points. If you get into the red, it's 8 and then 7, and that blue ring on the outside is 6 points. Now, we certainly don't expect anybody to land out there, but that's how that target is scored. And you'll see they all change faces, so they have a nice, perfect face, so they can get the best call possible if they have an arrow that's close to the line. And again, with these targets, the arrow needs only to touch the line to get the next highest score.
That was a look at Mario Vavro out of Croatia. So Denmark, Netherlands, and Croatia represented. The rest of these shooters all from the United States, scattered from Tennessee to Montana, Utah. Although Steve Anderson lives in Utah, he's part of the Idaho crowd, the Idaho crew,
right here in Vegas.
as they're all trying to represent. So here we go, second end of scoring.
Better than this.
And this tunnel gets tighter. It gets tighter and tighter.
This is where this is the pucker factor right here, where everything gets tight. If you're going to get nervous, this is when you're going to get nervous. This is when you need to trust that shot. lean on the experience that you have.
Dave Cousins, tons of experience, are lucky to have. Looks like Steve Anderson, inside out X for the Big Cat. There's a look at Paul Tedford.
Glen gives a good nod, feels comfortable with his shot there. And you see some of these archers standing behind them. Those are their advocates or their coaches, and kind of give them a little bit of advice if they need.
You'll see some of these archers going for their binoculars, taking a look. They want to see exactly where that hit. At this level, you know when you execute a good shot, you want to make sure that that arrow's hitting, we call it behind the pin or behind the dot.
Yep, you want to absolutely. You see Mikey reach right down for his glasses there. He makes a click there.
Chance Beaubouef with a click.
Oh, and he's shaking his head. He looks like he's got a big miss there. Did you see he reached right down and gave a big twist to that?
Schloesser, 10-10.
Looks like Tate Morgan. Looks like he's going to be in with 10-10-10.
I think Chance's second arrow is probably in. He's a little disappointed, but it's not as bad as I think he thinks it is. Mikey Schloesser looks like it's 10-10-10. Tate Morgan looks like 10-10-10.
Mario Vavro turned around. He's shaking his head with a smile on his face.
Steve Anderson's got all three. Chris Schaff's got all three. David Hauser with all three. Vavro with all three. Jesse Broadwater has one out.
Wow,
Hannah
that would
also
be a bit
has
upset.
one out. Bordwell has all three in. Tedford possibly has one out. And that's as far as I can make it down the line.
Heartbreak to get this far, especially for the rookie shooters that are in here for the very first time. You can see Stephan Hansen, other archers patting him on the back. Chance Beaubouef. That's really a shock. I mean, Chance.
Hansen, 30.
He's been in this situation so many times. Chance Beaubouef, he shoots. You know, he shoots by himself. He shoots at his house. He has an indoor range, 20-yard indoor range, which is what we're shooting here, 20-yard range. And then talking to Chance, he shoots, honestly, I said, give me an honest assessment of how many arrows you throw down a range a day. He said, honestly, 300 to 500 arrows a day.
28.
So Chance with a 28, he is out. 5 to 7 hours worth of work. He is now going to refocus because he is off to the first 3D tournament next weekend. So Chance Beaubouef, one of the early favorites after winning this 3 times, is now out.
Schloesser, 30.
You can see behind Mikey Schloesser there that archers are coming down to congratulate Chance. Good handshake. Sportsmanship, again, the cornerstone of archery. It has to be, especially for these pros that travel around. Even, you know, one of the opportunities that this particular tournament gives archers too is that those archers that are primarily target shooters and primarily 3D shooters,
30.
This is one of those times they all get together and have a lot of fun. There's a few other tournaments out there. There's Reading in some places, but this is one of those places where if you shoot for the same company or you don't get to see each other all year long, that friends get together.
And it is. It's, you know, we
Anderson,
call
30.
it our archery family, you know, that we come and we hang out with all the people that we know on the road. And we've been traveling with these guys for years now. And so you get to come see the manufacturers, your friends, competitors, their families. You know, you get to know their wives, their kids, things
Schaff,
like this.
30.
Their husbands, if it's the women's side. Chris Schaff still in there with a 30.
Looks like
Hauser, 30.
Yeah, David Hauser, smile on his face. He'll advance.
Good looking target.
Vavro, 30.
Great look there at Mario's target with a solid 30. He'll move on for one more end at least. You can see there's one out. See, that's a great shot of that X-ring. That's that inner X-ring that you need to hit to get those 10 points. If you get outside of it, it's going to be a 9.
Broadwater, 29.
Wow.
Jesse Broadwater and a stunning.
And a groan from the crowd. A groan. A fan favorite here after winning the World Championship last night. The World Cup Finals here in indoor. Jesse Broadwater is out. A bit of a surprise. I actually ran into Jesse earlier and we talked in the hallway, and he said
Hannah,
that today
29.
was the best day he's ever felt with his Matthews TRX-8.
No, you know, firsthand.
So Hannah out.
Through your body.
Now these guys, as they get eliminated here, they'll be placed by their score here. So chance will be below
Bordwell,
everybody
30.
with 28. And then the guys who are eliminated with 29s, their placement in the schedule or the finishing order will be determined by their X count.
The winner of this event walks away with $51,000 from the event. That's not including
Tedford,
sponsorship money.
29.
Oh.
Ooh.
So you called it, Chuck. Paul Tedford, who made his first shoot-off. He'll be bounced out with a 29. Now we move on to the young Chris B.
Paul Tedford, Dave Cousins travel quite a bit throughout Europe and America.
Wilde,
good partners, good friends.
30.
So Rio Wilde still in it.
As expected,
The bow
Rio's
that-
perennial favorite here.
Oh yeah, and the new bow that he's shooting, he literally got that bow after the ATA and has only had a limited amount of time to shoot with it. And he talked to me, I continually get this new Elite dialed in, and it's the best shooting bow that he's had in his hand, he said, in years. So Rio Wilde building a lot of confidence. Had more podiums last year than he's had in the last several years as well after he switched to Elite.
But he really needs that confidence. Going into this particular event, you need to be as confident as you possibly can in your equipment, believing in it, trusting it, thinking that it's absolutely flawless. Great shot of the Black Eagle PS26. That's an arrow that was fairly new on the market just a couple of years ago.
A lot of competition in the arrow market, isn't there?
There really is.
Yeah. As a new archer, you've got to really work with a dealership that's going to give you an opportunity to shoot, or have some friends that shoot different arrows.
Holmes, 28.
Find out what good feel is for you. For me, I think when I'm shooting indoor, I like the feel of an aluminum arrow. It's a little on the softer side. So
for this type of game, I'm of the same opinion. Me personally, I like the aluminum arrow. My daughter, on the other hand, I set her up. There was a great shot there of the Easton Super Drive 25. Those are the arrows I set up for her. It's still a large diameter arrow, but it's a little bit lighter weight, so it comes out of the bow a little cleaner, a little faster for her. And she shot her personal best all weekend long. It's a great shot of Dave's arrows there. I'm thinking that top arrow is probably out, and I think Dave will be eliminated as the lucky dog. Just can't see the other side of that shaft, but from there, looking at
and Cousins, 29.
Yep, there's the call.
Give big round applause to those that have been knocked
so the
out.
lucky dog out.
Now again, Dave will go to the top of the pile of the 899 archers.
Yep. So he will finish up in the 16th spot overall in this tournament.
Correct. And the archers will replace their target faces here, and we'll get reset for our third scoring end. We lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 archers in one end there. That's a testament to the pressure here.
No, and it's only going to mount as your heart rate is going to accelerate, trying to calm the brain, trying to calm the nerves as these archers whittle down and get closer to that $51,000 and a fireworks display for yourself if you win.
We've got a perfect 900 pin. So give all those that just were eliminated a big round of applause.
This is a special award that Bruce called the NFAA and the people who organized this event. If you shoot a perfect 900, he's got a very special commemorative pin for that.
Someday.
Someday. I keep thinking someday.
Hashtag next year.
I guess I probably have to do it in practice first.
Well, oh yeah, yeah. I've shot a 300.
I've shot several, but I've never lined up a 900. It's a pretty amazing feat to do it after, over the course of 3 days. You're trying to put the entire package together with, eating right, sleeping right.
And balancing family or spouses here in Vegas that want to go out and do things.
And a lot of these guys have sponsor commitments too, so there's other events that are going on during the course of this week.
Not to mention being mobbed by people, and that's so busy here when you're in the hotel. Autographs and conversation. Chris B, focused. Great shooter.
Great looking shot at Chris there.
Michigan State University's president of the Collegiate Archery Club on campus. So he piles that on top of his studies and trying to shoot.
Chris's first arrow, solid X.
Looks like Rio Wilde also is in.
Yep.
Looks like an 11
Bordwell's also in with his first win. Vavro in. Hauser in with 2 of his arrows. Chris Schaff 2. Steve Anderson 2. Tate Morgan's got 1 out, 1 in. Mikey Schloesser also has 1 out, 1 in. I'm sorry, he has both in.
Both in. Bordwell looks good on his second shot. You can see that hole.
Vavro's got 2 in. Hauser with all 3. Bordwell with, ooh, he missed his last arrow. No, you know, that's going to be a liner call. That's a very, very close one there for Bordwell.
Yeah, and he's turning around talking.
Yep. Rio's got.
Is it his father who's in the box with him?
Yeah, Rio's got 1 out.
His father who's in the box.
About to lose about another third in the field. Looking real good.
So unofficial scoring, of course, there. You can see it looks like Vavro has an unofficial score of 29. The Croatian.
Mr. Anderson.
Tate Morgan possibly dropped one.
David's got a liner, but it looks okay from here.
You can see the
Hansen,
judges.
30.
Steve Anderson there taking a look at everything to see what his competitors have done. Stephan Hansen with a 30, so he's clearly still in. That's 6 straight X's or 6 straight inner 10s for him.
He's got 1 that's a liner.
You know, this format actually suits Stephan Hansen's rhythm.
Schloesser,
his rhythm
30.
as a shooter. One of the times we see Stephan Hansen is unbelievable when you're shooting qualifying rounds at the world level. Unbelievable when he was shooting at Lancaster as well. It's when you get into that single shoot-off, when you go at the world level, they go 20 seconds to shoot 1 arrow, then the other archer shoots, then
29.
the other archer shoots, and Stephan loses a bit of rhythm. That's when some of the other archers have noticed that Stephan has a tendency to miss 1 or 2. This format right now, I would have to say, from how Stephan Hansen qualified, it probably goes in his favor. Only dropped 2 X's in 3 days in
Anderson, 30.
90 arrows.
It's a little bit of a long wait in between ends, a little bit longer than they're probably used to between. Because when we're shooting for score, when we're shooting our qualification rounds, you know, you get 2 minutes to shoot, then the next line comes up, they get 2 minutes to shoot, and then we all walk down together and pull and score the arrows. So the entire time frame takes somewhere between 7 and 9 minutes.
Schaff,
So
30.
depending, you know, as this group gets smaller, it'll get faster.
Oh yeah.
But right now, with this many people and having to score this many arrows, it takes a little while to get through it, and that time frame may stretch out into 10, 12, 13 minutes.
And that's a mental rhythm we're talking about. Physically, these shooters can shoot all arrows
Hauser,
all day long.
Oh,
30.
sure. Yeah, there's no question, no problem with that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Hauser's still in it with a 30. So far we've lost 1 that I can call. Tate Morgan, I believe.
Vavro, 29.
We move over to Vavro's with a 29, and he will be eliminated as well.
So Mario Vavro from Croatia has made it this far. Great shooting from him. And a lot more people know who he is.
Yes.
By being on center stage here at the South Point Hotel and Casino in the arena.
Now we move over to Bordwell's, and he's clearly got 1 out in that top target. It's that number 3 spot that's probably going to fall into question. I believe that's in from what we're looking at here.
Bordwell, 29.
You called it.
He will be eliminated. But a great performance by that young man. I'm sure his father will be very, very proud of him, his entire family. Great young kid. Now we should be moving over to Rio Wilde's target. Wilde looks like he's probably got that number 3 arrow is probably too far left to catch the
Wilde,
10.
29.
And Rio is eliminated.
Wow.
That right hand one just out.
So the Honey Badger bounced out as we get closer and closer to deciding the
Bounced out
2017 Vegas Shoot Champion. $51,000. I can tell you.
B's got 1 close there in that number 1 spot.
Yeah.
I think it's touching the X based on the size of the arrow that he's using, the Super Drive 25.
And B, 29.
No.
They called that out.
Oh,
Give them all
Chris,
a big round of applause.
by literally a millimeter, Chris B makes it deep into the shoot-off. A couple of ends. So he'll be gone. I'll be looking for that video on his YouTube channel for sure.
Just wow.
And we should be down to 5.
What a performance we're seeing tonight.
You'd think in most sports, the emotions, the nervousness happens at the beginning. And then once you get into, you know, the rhythm of the game or the rhythm of the race, that you just tend to be, you know, focused. That's where archery, I think, tends to be a little different from some other sports, is as you're getting closer to the end, you may think you're in a rhythm, but your nerves and your focus is really going to be called in question, isn't it?
Yeah, you start to wonder, I mean, personally, you know, you start to think about silly stuff, you know, until you've gotten used to
Did
this.
I leave the iron on?
Yeah,
boom,
you know.
9.
And that's where the professionalism of these guys, the experience of these guys after shooting thousands of arrows in the highest level of competition really pays off. You know, they have an excellent mental game. Not much is going to rattle them. They know that the guy next to him is just as good as they are. But they all deep down inside believe that they're better, and that's why they're here.
In a moment, coming to the line, the archers that are left.
And I've run out.
Chris Schaff, he has got to be enjoying this moment right now.
Team
Okay,
Montana.
gentlemen.
Team Montana.
Remember, there's 5 of you left. This is for $51,000.
So we should have Stephan Hansen,
Good luck.
Mike Schloesser,
You know,
Steve Anderson, Chris Schaff, and David Hauser still in the shoot-off.
Hauser in his first shoot-off makes it to the final 5.
Three archers from Hoyt, 2 elites, and a PSE in the final running.
Schloesser clean. Anderson
David breaks a great shot there.
Schaff clean.
He absolutely center punched that.
Stephan's out.
Schaff is in. Anderson is in.
Stephan Hansen, is he in?
Stephan Hansen is out.
Wow.
Mikey Schloesser is in with 2 of his arrows. Steve Anderson also in with 2. Schaff is in with 2. Hauser's in with 2.
We have the benefit of seeing the archers and the target at the same time. I can tell you Steve Anderson just took a deep breath. A good look at the big cat. Unexpected finalist in last night's World Cup finals. Steve with a good shot there, as we say in archery.
Absolutely center punched his first 2 arrows.
58 seconds remain, so Steve will stay on the line along with Stephan Hansen. So Steve Anderson right now at full draw. You can look at Stephan
David
Hansen.
Hauser is in with 3.
Oh, Anderson with the yip right there. Again, 42 seconds remain as he plays to the crowd as Steve was center screen.
And you saw Stephan let down there when the
that was
crowd
good.
kind of laughed.
That was good.
He has to reset. Both of these guys are very experienced, though, on this stage, this international stage.
27 seconds remain to get this shot off.
Great shot from Steve, but I think it might be just a little outside.
Stephan Hansen. Steve Anderson, coach, of course, his wife, Linda Ochoa Anderson. Bronze medalist in last night's World Cup indoor finals. So
Steve's arrow is very close.
I believe
Steve has caught some incredible lines. He's got some great calls so far this weekend. Will his luck run out here in Las Vegas?
Wait for it.
And you can see Stephan, he rushed up to the line and used his binoculars to try to get a look at his arrow. Even from 5 yards there, he's trying to get a handle on whether or not it's in or out.
The weirdest thing is, Chuck, is no matter how hard you stare through your binoculars, the arrow doesn't move.
You can't draw it in any tighter.
And you want to. There's
you
plenty
see,
of
yeah,
shots.
there's a great shot there of his arrows, and it's that top one that we're calling into question. I think it's probably out. Stephan, one of the smallest guys on the
He
line.
is, right next to one of the tallest.
Right next to one of the tallest.
There is the big cat, Steve Anderson. Let me tell you the Steve Anderson story really quickly. So it's 4:15 yesterday in the afternoon. Steve, who's suffering from a sinus infection, decides he's going to go take a nap. He gets an email from somebody saying, hey, great job qualifying for the World Cup final. Steve says, I did what? Now he goes out of his room and he starts to make some calls trying to find some arrows, because the distinction is he only has
Stephan Hansen,
27s with
30.
him. All right, so Stephan Hansen is in. Boy, that was a questionable call, so that caught the line. So Steve Anderson had to borrow arrows from Mikey Schloesser last night, and he made his way all the way to the gold medal match against Jesse Broadwater.
And here he is competing against him today.
Schloesser, 30.
Mr. Perfect with a nice solid 30.
Is still
Keep him
perfect.
in the mix.
Look at that deep sigh there. Now, Steve Anderson's, that top arrow, that number 2 arrow, that one.
That's out.
I think that's out.
That's out. So Steve Anderson.
Yeah, he's getting
Anderson, 29.
Steve knows how to play to the crowd. He's a fan favorite.
And again, you know, 2 guys that were competing against each other today are borrowing equipment and sharing equipment yesterday.
Yep,
amazing. That's what I love about the whole archery family.
Yep. Looks like that bottom one, target number 3.
Schaff, 29.
Schaff is also eliminated.
Good run for him. So right now we're down to
30
2
there for Hauser.
So Hauser, David Hauser, in his first shoot-off.
Hauser,
out of Pennsylvania, 30. College student at Penn State. Right now, Hauser, the only hope for someone from the United States to take home the $51,000 prize. This is incredible.
He's guaranteed a podium finish here because there's only 3 archers left. Stephan Hansen, Mikey Schloesser, Mr. Perfect, and of course David Hauser out of Pennsylvania here in the USA. So this is going to be fantastic for these guys. What we're going to watch here now is a podium finish. All of the archers that have been eliminated are off the podium. We have 3 guys left, and you saw that shot break there on the replay from Hauser. Beautiful shot, beautiful execution.
So how about David Hauser? He's 19 years old. He came to Vegas when he was 12 years old with his parents who were shooting. And he got to see Jesse Broadwater win Vegas that year. He said then and there at 12 years old, this is what I want to do. And now, 7 years later at 19, he's on center stage here at the South Point Hotel and Casino in the arena with a chance to win $51,000. As you saw Jesse Broadwater get eliminated earlier on in this competition.
Watched
and
his hero get eliminated.
He's going up against the #1 qualifier in this tournament, Stephan Hansen, and Mr. Perfect, Mike Schloesser. So David Hauser, if you don't know him, you soon will. He told me that his motto is, it's okay to make a bad shot, but it is not okay to be outworked. And even though he's a college student at Penn State University, the pride of Penn State right now, he is not being outworked here today. Deep breath from David Hauser.
Shooting the brand new Hoyt Prevail. And it is so quiet in here, I'm kind of afraid to talk.
I know, we're kind of talking under our breath because we are out here in the open with everyone.
And we're only about 15 yards from these shooters. 10. You see Mikey gets his first arrow off, and it's a 10. 10. David also with a solid 10.
Stephan Hansen, traditionally a bit of a long holder.
Stephan Hansen in that same exact hole. That's going to be a liner call. That's in that same hole that he shot just moments ago. Mikey centered it. Yeah. It's curious they didn't change the faces with this for the podium finish. David absolutely center punches that target.
Beautiful.
You see him take a big, deep breath here.
And the crowd knows they're into this. This is an educated archery crowd. And when David Hauser released that arrow, the crowd,
not a single noise.
Yeah.
Hansen, another liner call, but probably a 10. Yes, definitely a 10.
Hauser lets down. It's a good move. 1 minute
Schloesser
remains.
is 10, 10, 10. So if Hauser hits this 10,
he's guaranteed.
It's going to depend on that call from Stephan on whether his is in or out.
Hauser looks pretty steady. If he has nerves, he has not shown it right now.
He's holding an awful long time. Ooh, and that's high.
For David Hauser, he's going to be out on that one.
Unless Stephan misses big here.
Stephan misses big here.
10.
No, it looks like he's going to get a 10. So it'll depend on that call. We could have a shoot-off for second place. If Stephan Hansen and David Hauser both tie at 29, then the win will go to Mike Schloesser, and we will have a shoot-off for second place. So now it's all down to the judges.
And it all really relies on that #2 arrow from Stephan Hansen. That #2 spot where he shot that first arrow. You see You see him kind of give the little fist bump
Mike
there.
Schloesser with a solid
I
10,
wonder if he
10.
believes that it's out.
So the
Boy, it's hard to
question
tell
mark
from
is
this
David.
angle. You don't want to prejudge that. Oh, he's giving the handshake. I think he believes that it's out. Or he's congratulating David on his finish.
29 come out of Bruce Gull at the moment.
As we await, we're listening as well. Once the judges make their call, it gets sent back here to the table where we're sitting. And Bruce will also make the call out loud, so.
The official call.
Official call.
Stephan Hansen, 30.
Wow, so it's official.
So
It's
we will
official.
have a shoot-off for first and second.
We certainly
Still.
will.
All right, so we know
Between
we're gonna
Denmark
use
and the
one more entry
Netherlands.
David Hauser will be eliminated with his 29.
He'll take third place in the competition.
Mike Schloesser, 30.
No question on that one. So Mr. Perfect.
And this
holds
year's
on to
Vegas
it.
champion will not be from the United States.
2 years in a row.
2 years
Last
in a
year
row.
was Italy. 2015, of course, Alex Wiffler.
Stephan Hansen from Denmark, Mikey Schloesser from the Netherlands. Good friends, travel around quite a bit.
Yeah.
I saw them both just a couple of weeks ago at the Lancaster Archery
And
Classic.
your third place champion, David Hauser with a 29.
A great tip of the hat to the crowd. David's such a good sport.
Future ahead for young David Hauser.
Great,
What a tremendous
amazing
performance and a very professional.
Upright
turnout
future.
for him.
What a future he has in archery if he chooses to
Here
continue
one
down
more time
this
for
road.
David Hauser, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I think he's got a great future ahead of him. You see the guys now both going for new target faces. The judges making them change those
Well,
out.
needless to say, fresh targets are going to go up now. These two
So
gentlemen
it
have
comes down to the
been here
baby-faced
before, not
assassin
necessarily here in Vegas,
versus
like
against
Mr.
Mr. Perfect.
many other World Archery events.
PSE
When it's
versus
come down to
Hoyt.
the Fresh Prince,
Denmark
now known as the baby-faced assassin. And Mr. Perfect.
versus the Netherlands. This is going to be quite a showdown here. And
Do you expect this to go to a couple ends now?
hey, I was just getting ready to ask you that same question.
We're in our fifth end.
Yeah.
And typically Vegas is sorted out in about 5 or 6 ends. It's never really gone farther than that.
Last year.
It was
I
only
think
one.
end.
I'm going to refrain from
I don't know. I mean, the
There's
way
just too
these
much
two
to
are
say.
shooting right now, it depends. Stephan Hansen has had a few that have been line callers, you know. I don't know if that's weighing on him mentally, or Mike Schloesser has been punching him in the middle. He looks pretty confident.
He looks very, very confident. You know, I think Stephan, you know, he's gotten through a couple of rough ends and not been eliminated.
Yep.
You know, with the way that
One of the
it fell with other
most
archers.
admirable things about this category.
You know, you don't want to say he got the luck of
sort
it, but when
brotherhood,
he,
you know,
Stephan Hansen's coming off
so
of
professional.
a impressive 2016.
All right, here we go.
now
won a
both of
couple
these
World
guys have shot 369. They've shot 12 X's in a row
10.
to get to where they are. 12 X's in a row.
Amazing. Mikey Schloesser uses thumb trigger on his release.
That's a 10 for both archers.
Stephan Hansen tried to put a little English on that one.
10.
Great shot from Mikey Schloesser, also a 10.
He just looks like he's, you know, at the range in practice.
Now watch his thumb ease onto that trigger there.
Yeah.
And that's how he executes that shot.
It's
That is definitely in.
Yep.
Well, I shouldn't say definitely. I mean,
Well,
when
the second shot. But
Yeah.
That set first.
When he misses to that high left side.
10,
Mikey,
10.
without a doubt.
Just drilling him.
Now Mikey and Stephan, very used to each other.
45 seconds to execute this shot. Plenty of time for Stephan Hansen, your #1 qualifier coming into this final shoot-off.
There it is.
There
Mikey
it is.
Schloesser will be your winner.
Mikey Schloesser is going to be
It's not
the
official,
2017
but we
Vegas
have a
Shoot
Vegas
champion
He's from the
here at the
Netherlands.
South Point Hotel
And they
and
call him
Casino.
Mr. Perfect.
Congratulations all around.
Wow.
What a smile on his face.
Wow.
That was incredible.
What a huge win for Mikey. What a huge win for Hoyt.
Competitor right now on this field of play.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Hey, for everybody's information
so
that's
Mike
in the hall,
Schloesser, again,
I would ask you to stay around. We got a special treat at the end with some fireworks and some giveaways, so stick
world
around.
champion.
Yeah, we are not done yet here, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with us.
Look at the tears
Bruce
in his eyes.
Got a lot up his sleeve before we wrap it up tonight.
Take a deep breath, Mike Schloesser.
Man, he knows this is absolutely life-changing for him. Now, $51,000 when he takes that back to the Netherlands is a pile.
It is a pile.
What a beautiful looking target. XXX.
And Stephan Hansen in second place, Vegas champion 29, and your 2017 Vegas champion, Mike Schloesser.
And the official announcement there from Bruce Cull, and a big wave to the crowd.
Mr. Perfect does it again.
What a great shoot-off.
What a great shoot-off. Back up to capacity, 15 shooters all shooting 900 scores to get here. The lucky dog, Dave Cousins. And we had possibly a coming-out party for David Hauser out of Pennsylvania, finishing third in this tournament, 19 years old, full-time student at Penn State University, going up against two of the best, the absolute best shooters that we have in the world right now.
These guys are the best in the world. You see Mikey Schloesser there getting interviewed by Greg Poole. That's Bow Junkie Media down there. Getting some pictures taken. Dean Alberga bringing his bow so he can make sure he can get those in
Get that in the shot, yeah.
Right, it's very, very important for these guys.
We have a fireworks show coming up here, and we also have all the podium celebrations that'll be coming up momentarily as well.
Yeah, and the crowd still staying in their seats because they want to see all this. Nobody running away from it. Great shot there. Ooh, there's the English. And Mikey, clean as a whistle. And he knew it right away.
Yeah,
he knew it right away.
He'll be thinking about that shot for quite a while.
At least until next year.
Oh, yeah.
Hashtag next year.
Hashtag next year. For most of the shooters here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time.
So congratulations to Mikey Schloesser from the Netherlands.
What they've shown you tonight. Let's give them a round of
come into
applause
the
that they'll hear on the strip.
Vegas shoot of 2017. Holds that bow high in the air. Good karma going his way as well, lending arrows to Steve Anderson, who he had to compete against. They didn't shoot off against each other, but they had to compete against each other. As last night, Schloesser was eliminated by Jesse Broadwater, who ended up winning the gold medal.
Absolutely.
In the World Cup indoor finals. Now takes home $51,000 and the title that he will always have as Vegas champion.
Vegas champion.